Hey everybody, a different kind of video today. I'm going to discuss something that I actually kind of agree with somebody that you guys might be surprised about, Cenk Uygar. So, why would I agree with Cenk Uygar on something? The thing we're talking about is paid family leave. I actually looked up information on this a year ago, and I assumed that I'd find a lot of things to back up my belief at the time, which was, paid family leave is a bad idea. Cenk has openly stated on more than one occasion, 80% of Americans, working Americans, it really should be, he should say, agree with paid family leave. I didn't believe that at the time until after looking up at least 5 different news stories. And they all said the same thing. Most people agreed with paid family leave. So I looked up what paid family leave was. Paid family leave is more for women than men. But what it is that if you're pregnant and you have a child, they still pay you while you are out of work after having had said child for a set amount of time. Generally, about 3 months seems to be the average amount that most people would agree to. Now, this also extends over into males. So if your wife has a kid, you can spend 3 months at home taking care of the kid, getting paid. Now, I don't disagree with that. Where I do disagree with the idea is that what Cenk wants is what all progressives and communists and socialists want. They want the federal government to step in and enforce paid family leave on every business. Now, that can't work because the Constitution forbids the federal government to be involved in the inner workings of a business up to a certain extent. So in other words, Congress would not be able to pass a law forcing every business in America to grant paid family leave. Now, they could do so for the federal government and all the federal workers' jobs. Yeah, they could do that. So FBI could have paid family leave, ATF paid family leave, and all the other alphabet agencies could have paid family leave. But your standard McDonald's? No. Your standard corporation? Heck, even your big-time corporations. They can't be forced by the federal government to have paid family leave. Now, there are some businesses that actually do have paid family leave, but it is very restricted because of the expense of it. It is also a benefit, not a requirement. Jobs and corporations who have jobs, they offer benefits in order to get an employee to come work for them. If it is made some type of federal regulation for all businesses, then it's not a benefit. Then it doesn't attract workers because every worker knows, oh, well, I go to this job, I'll get paid family leave. I go to this job, I'll get paid family leave. What's the only difference? None. Also, government is bad at regulating things when we just know this to be true. Now, let's just say from my knowledge of business, most businesses that do have paid family leave, they're multi-billion-dollar companies. Okay, so they can actually afford, due to their profit margin, to have a very small number of their workers sit out for 3 months after having a kid. Now, most businesses overall, they already have a sort of similar system. We call it paid sick leave, sick days, all of those things. If you added up a month worth of sick days, or even paid vacation days, and most businesses, especially the multi-billion-dollar types, they've got 2 to 3 months. You get 2 to 3 months of sick leave, vacation time, days off, all of that. So you could technically do that as a pregnant woman already, or as a man whose wife just gave birth. You could have 3 months. Now, most businesses are going to give you half pay during that time or a quarter of pay, because it doesn't make any sense to pay you $2,000 or $3,000 a month and you're not there working. So my plan would be this. Okay, the first month after you've had your kid, they'll pay you the full amount. So let's say they pay you $3,000. You get paid $3,000 a month anyway. So you get that first month, $3,000. Second month would be probably half, and then 1/3 in the third month. And then after that, you're not getting paid. Because it doesn't make any sense to pay a person not to work. That your company's just not going to make any money like that. And if you're a small business, you definitively can't afford that. You just can't. It doesn't make any sense. Your small business may be making $300,000 a year, but do you think you can afford to take a guy stays off of his job for 3 months and you're paying him full price for the job? No, that's not going to happen. And that's why I primarily don't agree with a federal government regulation. But that's one of the things Cenk is running on now, that somehow he's going to get paid family leave. He's going to force the federal government to instate regulations that are unconstitutional. That is my disagreement with Cenk. But I can agree with Cenk that, yeah, probably 80% of the American population that's working would love some paid family leave. But once again, if it's not a benefit, it's a regulation, then there's no benefit to working at such a job. Most jobs nowadays, I don't care if you're working at McDonald's, digging a ditch, or working in a Fortune 500 company, they have what they call a furlough system, pregnancy furlough, maternity leave, where you can be gone for 6 months. As long as you come back within that 6 months, you've got a job. I've seen it happen. I've worked at jobs where I came in, the woman who was working my position, she left because she got pregnant and had a kid. And one job I worked there for 2 months. And come to find out, what had happened is that I was just basically taking this woman's place until she came back. And she was right at 4.5 months being gone. So after 2 months, I was gone. They came in the door one day, the bosses came down and said, well, hey, look, this will be your last day working because this lady's coming back in about a week. You know what I said? Okay. I didn't get upset about it because I thought, well, there's somebody who's got a kid who's going to come back and take this position. I can go find another job. I don't have kids. I just have bills to pay, but I don't have no child to support. I'm very understanding of pregnant women having to take time off. I don't have any kids, but I've dealt with enough nieces and nephews and in-laws currently that I understand that, yeah, you ain't coming back in 2 months. Especially if you had a rough pregnancy and a rough time giving birth, you're lucky to come back in 2 months. Most women will stay out 6 months. That's why you need a husband to take care of take care of you and provide for you. Because if it ends up being a year that you have to stay gone because the kid is sick or having other issues, hubby needs to be there. So paid family leave really more feels like basically supporting the single mother social structure instead of providing people with a benefit that would help them in case when they have children. Now, once again, I'm kind of all for it now because I now understand what the whole deal is. But I want businesses to offer this as a benefit to working, not the federal government coming in and regulating that it has to be this way. Because whenever you do things through the federal government, something always gets screwed up, and there's always somebody getting a kickback on the side. So that's all I've got to say about this issue. Finally, about a year after learning all of this, I finally get up off my behind and make a video about it. And, well, that's about it. Video's coming up on about 10 minutes. I'll be uploading this to YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute. Everybody take care and have a wonderful evening.